Hello everyone, welcome to my challenge to beat every single Wii game released in North America, which clocks in at over 1,200 titles, and I'm playing all of them physically. Game number 7, All-Star Cheer Squad, was released on October 27, 2008. It was developed by Guerrilla Systems and published by THQ. This is a rhythm game themed around cheerleaders, and Wikipedia describes this as THQ's first original property created specifically for girls. So, do with that as you will. I think we should just jump into the game and see what it's about. Getting to the proper title screen, the obvious path to go down here is the career mode. First of all, I get to customize my own character, and finishing that up, let's play an event. The only thing I can select here is Tryout, and this shoots us into the beginning of the story element of this game. This is the Fox Squad, and they need a replacement on the team, so they give me a chance to prove myself. I quickly also want to talk about how basic and lazy the story in this game is. All of it takes place in the same indoor gym area, and also, whenever someone finishes their dialogue, their animation resets and they visibly jitter a bit. That's not a good first impression. Anyways, now it's time to be taught the basics. The main thing to focus on here is the cheer line, and will show us what moves to execute as they move from right to left on the line. So at its core, it's a straightforward rhythm game concept. This first run through is ultra simple, only giving us up and down, and then inward and outward moves. Throughout routines, your score is also kept track on the left. Even though I had to get used to the quirks of the motion detection at first, this rating would prove to be completely useless. Even on trickier routines, it feels impossible to fail these. But I suppose I'm also not the age demographic this was meant for. But even then, this is shockingly simple. The second practice session showed us some more complex moves. We learned a V formation, as well as left L and right L. Again, these are still very simple concepts. I also figured out that the music featured throughout this game appears to be copyright free. In fact, my viewers looked into this, and the music was in part produced in-house at THQ, and another portion made by some company named Moxie Music, who says they are a duo of award-winning music producers, sound engineers, and sound designers. They very well may have done some work that is alright, but throughout this video you will realize this is not one of them. I'm really shocked they proudly listed this game on their site. Now, it's the last of this initial practice, with the moves here simply being upside down versions of what we just learned. Nothing fancy here. Let's enter the proper tryouts. This must be where it gets a lot more exciting, right? Have you seen what we got? You won't see me bring it. Like, what is this song? Like, what is this? Nope, you already witnessed the entire vibe of this game, but I promise there's more quirks packed inside. As you can imagine, I aced that tryout no problem. Before we can do more, there's 2 more practice sessions. It's now time for diagonals, and then what they call a K. And then, the following practice was about using our elbows. These moves aren't too different from what was already shown, and getting into the second tryout, this wasn't going to be a problem. Besides maybe the fact that I should pay more attention to where my microphone is. I need to get away from my mic slightly, because I keep hitting it very slightly. Whoops. As if there weren't enough moves already, I'm again forced to do 3 more practice sessions. The first of the bunch is what are dubbed X moves. Again, nothing mind-blowing here. Session number 7 is just some punch moves. Left, right, and down. Do I really need to keep explaining these? All the arrow demonstrations here are straightforward enough. The last of these were what they called check marks. 1 arm to the side, 1 arm up. Entering tryout number 3, the music immediately reminded me of another bad game that honestly I would rather play instead. The beginning of that sounded like the Action 52 song. Does anyone know what I'm talking about when I say that specifically? I guess that beat is a lot more common than I thought, but Anyways, if you were worried we didn't have enough practice sessions yet, there's 4 more to be cleared in this section. The first one shared that at times we will be asked to press the Wii Remote buttons while simultaneously doing a move, and the other 3 were just general practice for the final tryout. And, wow. I wonder how much of a challenge this will be. And yeah, we cleared the tryout with flying colors. This gives us access to week 1, and as you can see in the top left, there are many more sections of the game to go. Starting this up, shocker, we made the cut. We are now a part of the squad. I also noticed that to get around calling us a custom name, I'm referred to as Noodles, referring to the fact that I am the newbie here. I get welcomed into the squad, and then immediately get reminded of who this game is supposed to be sold to.
Yeah, was that a threat?
GTG.
Ain't no way you just said that out loud.
I understand that meant got to go, but you can't tell me with a straight face anyone has said that acronym out loud before. Getting over that, we are introduced to further scoring within the game. There is a play score meter now, and this shares with us how many moves we have chained back to back. If we earn 10 of these star chain markers, we get an additional score bonus. In further competitions, I will be versing against 3 other squads for the highest score. There's also the cheer meter in the bottom left, and will drain if I keep failing moves. This is something I never ended up worrying about. With that knowledge, that makes us capable of playing our first competition, and wow, look at that, finally a change in scenery. Competitions are the only time you will see variety in backgrounds, and I guess with the CoverGirl sponsorship in the back, we can tell where some of the funds for this game came from. Wrapping up the first of 2 routines, geez, look how easy it is to win in this game. We already have more than double the amount of second place's points, with the second routine featuring just as stiff player models. My lead increased to over 400 points. All the other teams must not care too much, and I can't blame them. Walking away from our first win, Practice 14 brought upon us chain moves. In order to earn the stars from this chain, all the gestures needed to be cleared, but it looks like you can still scoop up partial completion points. That forces me to move into the semifinals, and we are at the same exact football stadium as before. The music choice here became increasingly confusing. What the f am I hearing? I think this is what a grandma would think hyperpop is. With the second routine ending, we had an equally as large lead, and this gives us entrance to the proper finals. While this is just as boring as ever, at least the music was giving me something to talk about.
1, 2, 3, 4, get your booty on the floor and drop it until you rock it.
What the f am I hearing?
Blasting through that, all that's left for week 1 is the proper finals, where I get even more old man trying to be hip with kids energy.
Can we talk about how it says cuz like C-U-Z instead of like the normal cuz?
The final had 3 rounds, and now they are performing around a generic venue setup. All the increase in rounds did was increase my final lead, standing over 600 points ahead this time. Celebrating the win, would you look at that? There's actually more to week 1. Blech. Wonder what Challenge Drew is. There still seems to be more to learn about this game still. We can now earn callouts, which we can activate using the C button to attack my opponent or defend myself against an attack. And wait, what? Yeah, I guess there's more than one type of competition we need to deal with here. We are versing this guy to see who can get a higher score, and once you build up enough stars, you can use the callout feature just mentioned. At least that was just as easy. Drew was no match for me. Moving on, time to give it up for practice 15, where we learn of Liberty moves. Every so often now, this arrow and star will appear, and using the Wii Remote to tilt back and forth, we can earn even more bonus stars. But yet again, that's another feature we won't need to worry about at all. Next on the menu is Catch the Wave, back to competitions. The initial cutscene dialogue here leads to me giving some important advice.
I guess I'm just afraid. I mean, if I can't live up to my mom's name, then what's the point?
Bro, if you're trying to compare yourself to your family in the slightest, that's where you fail. like that. Be your own
So,
person.
Is that supposed to be
Bruh.
comforting?
Instead of fields, we are now on the beach for this competition. Quite a drastic change in scenery. Once more, the music is very much carrying here.
What? My favorite thing to use in a song, a squeaky toy.
Pushing through that, we are back to another lifeless cutscene, and these two girls have been giving each other words of encouragement, I guess. There really hasn't been a proper story yet. Selecting the final section here, Challenge Sadie, is, well, about challenging Sadie. Who could have predicted that one? Beating her here gave me position 4 during competitions. I assume this will keep rising as we progress. Week 2 starts with the squad gloating about their captain, and the practice that follows provides us the exact same thing as before. Competing again. For once, this game used a copyrighted song. Eventually my chat was able to confirm the song is SOS by the Jonas Brothers. The following song also seemed to be a real track, but it seemed to be in Spanish, so I can't confirm where that one's from. I'm baffled they would wait this long to include licensed music, and on top of that, this is the only proper music present throughout the game. The rest is in-house made garbage. Trying to wrap my head around that, the competition was swept by another 500-point lead, and some petty drama breaks out that I genuinely couldn't care less about. Before another round of competitions, we catch up with JT, a guy on another squad, and he apologizes over the arguing, and it ends with us getting flustered towards the end of the conversation. Wonder where that will go. Breezing through the following competition, the semifinals gave me yet another surprise in regards to music choice.
Why are we just throwing in cartoon sound effects like that?
With the proper finals being yet again the exact same, I was presented with another practice session right as I thought those weren't a thing anymore. All this introduced me to was another movement, simply spinning my Wii remote around. Moving into Water's Edge, all of these bonuses were proving to make the game somehow easier than before, cause ending this off, I won the competition by over 1,000 points. I'm then suddenly berated about who I've been hanging out with, and I'm pretty much told to stop hanging around anyone that's on the other squads. A ton of this story has kind of just gone over my head since the plot is shallow at best, and it just sums up to high schoolers whining about things no one else would care about. Anyways, to wrap up week 2, we challenged Nico and did another practice round. We are now in position 3 for competitions, and also, it's now week 3. Starting off, the team is all together, and this one girl starts talking to us about how she's interested in someone, but not sure what to do about it, and then rambles about the fact that her parents have money and she's loaded. And that's supposed to make me feel bad for her? I think I care even less about these characters now. I actually kinda hate them. Anyways, she reveals the guy she likes is that Nico dude we chatted up with earlier, and asks if we can talk to him about her. So I guess we will witness that soon. And to be honest, I completely mixed up Drew and Nico, and also even JT at times while scripting this, because all of the player models in this game are so generic that it hurts. Before our next competition, we riz up JT a bit even more, even though the others have said that we shouldn't hang out, and then afterwards one of the girls gets all in my face about hanging out with him, and she seems very threatened over the fact that we could possibly replace the captain position in the future. Doing another practice, we head into Electric Winners, and I share with Nico someone has a crush on him, but he thinks it's me. After further competing, our teammate shares Nico put a flower in her locker, so I guess he figured out it wasn't me. Now I have to challenge Becca, the captain, and I now just realized that I happen to design the exact same player model as hers, so I guess I'm rivaling my clone. This was the first segment I was worried about my performance on, but I happened to win by only 5 points. That was just enough to move up to the second position on the team. Getting some new cheer moves in practice, we now have the Shine Expo, and this cutscene makes me really hate the captain girl. She has that generic Valley Girl voice that gives me the same reaction as nails on a chalkboard.
Quit baking drama cakes and focus on why you're here. If I lose to Tiger Squad after stepping out on them, I'm headed for Joke of the Week status.
Ending with the competition that follows, before I started playing the following day, look at how many letters I got on my Wii message board from this game. This is probably the most I've ever been spammed with such. Anyways, continuing with the Shine Expo, we of course sweep the finals no problem. And now it's time to get it loud. And before doing that, it looks like Nico is pursuing this other girl further, but also tells me I have a letter waiting for me as well. Guess we will read that later. Ending the second routine, I happened to click retry by accident, so that means I actually played 4 routines here. We now get our note, and who would have guessed? It's from JT, and he wants to meet after this next competition. This is when I realized I could skip ahead here, and there wasn't anything stopping me from playing all of these in the correct order. So with that, I fast forwarded to the start of week 4. This may result in the plot getting fast forwarded a bit at times, but who cares? I wasn't invested in it to begin with. Starting the week, we figure out that we were set up. JT wasn't even there for our meeting. The sprinkler system went off. It's immediately confirmed that this was done by the other team, as they start taunting me out of nowhere. This results in my own team hating on me for some reason, cause God forbid I talk to someone else on the other team. I'm told my days are over if I continue such a thing, which is insane. I suppose this whole thing is framed around basic high school girls, so yeah. Drama continues. Between some further competing, we have to tell Drew he still hasn't truly figured out who his crush is, and once again, I assumed he got it right with the flowers from earlier. These generic characters are making me easily lose track of who is who, and if you weren't sure at this point if CoverGirl was a sponsor of this game, we get to compete on a stage that is just littered with advertising for it, and the competition itself is straight up named CoverGirl X. Wrapping that sponsored segment up, we have a long distance call waiting for us, and after some more unnecessary practice, we clean up the semifinals, and then I remember, we can keep skipping forward, so I just do that, and immediately run into my clone. We figure out the call is from my mother, and it was a bit negative. I continue to have zero sympathy for the main girls here, considering how spoiled I found out they were earlier. Sweeping it up by hundreds of points again, we find out Nico has finally figured out things with his secret admirer. But then in the following cutscene, Nico says if his date with Sadie doesn't go well, we have to go on a date with him instead. He literally just insinuated we are a backup option and is forcing us into it. This game is making me not just hate rich people, but also men. Getting through some more tracks that can barely be described as music, we learn something new. All of this drama stemmed from the fact that one of the girls dated this JT guy previously and was just jealous. Apparently JT is already interested in us as well. Skipping as much as this as I can, let's push into week 5. Catching up with Sadie, things didn't go well with Nico, and speaking of the devil, he immediately harasses us about going on a date. Dude, leave us alone. Pretending that never happened, it's time to jam out to Walmart brand Will I Am.
Now Smarty gonna show us how to do the splits. Ticky ticky chow, ticky ticky wow wow. You're sitting on the bleachers like a cow. Ticky ticky chow, ticky ticky pow pow. I don't have time for this game right now.
MF really said you're sitting on the bleachers like a cow. I heard that correctly, right?
Now it's time to skip ahead more and more. Look how much I can breeze through here. Let's just walk the plank. We immediately get thrown into further drama. Sadie seems to be mad at me just cause the other guy insists on non-consensual dating me instead. Not sure how that's my problem here. Blazing through this speech performance, Sadie is still being a drama queen, and now we get to challenge her. But before that happens, I get berated even further, and I'm not even allowed to explain how weird Nico is. So I'm told whoever loses this challenge is probably getting kicked off the team. Not a worry, cause I more than doubled her final score, and I unlocked week 6. We are introduced to Pearl, the new replacement to the team, and our first competition with her is the Wheel of Fire. I'm not seeing any fire here, but alright. Clearing the fresh jam competition, we skip to another competition, and afterwards we confront Nico. He finally apologizes for how creepy he is. Week 6 ends with the We Scream competition, and we've now earned ourselves the finals. It starts with us giving some inspirational speech about life that's supposed to be all feel-good and such, but the dullness of this game makes anything said here absolutely soulless. We also spilled the news that we didn't quit our previous squad, but was actually kicked out, but I don't think anyone cares about that too much. Entering Ultimate Cheer, we hand JT his class ring and Shards from Brianna Ocarina, the girl that happened to previously date him. So I guess we are trying to set them back up together? Anyways, winning just as usual, we are asked if we should be called by our real name instead of the Noodles nickname that has stuck throughout this. This leads into another mini speech saying it doesn't matter and blah blah blah. It's not that serious. Everyone is magically happy now, and that's it. The end. You may notice there's a final walked section marked O, and doing some research, this stands for off season and can only be done during quick play. So that's it. We beat the game. That was All-Star Cheer Squad. With that, let's wrap things up with my final thoughts. First of all, it shouldn't be that shocking for me to say that this experience was quite repetitive and boring. Even if I was the target demographic of this, I can't imagine that would make things any better. I ended up rating this a 3 because this is quite a pathetic release, but I promise you it gets worse than this. In terms of difficulty, I gave it a 1. It was mind-numbingly easy to get through each competition, winning hundreds of points every time. I was on the easiest difficulty, but I can't imagine it gets too much harder. So, would I recommend this game? No, not at all. Why would I? That also ties into, does this work well as a Wii game? No. The controls could have been worse, but god they were horribly inconsistent. I would skip this one if I were you. Wrapping it all up, I rolled 2 games and did a poll in chat to decide what was next. Looks like we will be doing My Sims Agents next time. There's no way that's worse than this. Until next time, that's all I have to share. So, thanks for watching.